And welcome. Welcome to the No Name Yet podcast. That is the podcast with no name. And on tonight's show is someone that I thought was never going to be on the show. My mom, Donna Moran. Hello. Are you happy to be on the show? So this came about because Dad is at a comedy show with Gina, and you volunteered to be on the show.
Yes, sir.
Well, that's great. So instead of the No Name Yet podcast with Dick and Dickie, it's the No Name Yet podcast with Donna and Dickie today. So you're feeling good?
Yeah.
You know the format of the show, the 4 food groups? So the first food group is a memory, which you will provide. Second is a news story that I'll initiate. The third is a sports story, but we're going to talk about your sports, your favorite sporting event, which is on TV, and then the mystery category. So we'll jump right into it. What is your memory?
Well, my memory kind of evolved this week because I've been thinking about people a lot that are no longer here. And then there was a little synchronicity involved. The app what that brings up your old pictures occasionally. They say on this day.
Mm-hmm.
One included an old family picnic from quite a ways back, and another one was, and some people that I had been thinking about. And today when I picked up the hymnal at Mass, it was one of my dedications, which I had said to you I never get one of the ones I did. So that was there today, which brought me back to pretty much the family picnics.
Okay, and that was one of the memories that Dad was going to maybe initiate for 4th of July,
Okay.
but he came up with it at the last minute, so we went with the other memory.
Okay. Growing up, when we moved to Colony, which was, I turned 9 years old just after we moved, my parents started hosting family picnics on the 4th of July and Labor Day. A lot of it included extended family, like my dad's cousins, which I really didn't remember that part for a lot of years. And but they did it for a very long period of time before they kind of backed off, and then they might not have been every year, and definitely not twice a year, but then other people in their generation started picking up on it. And so one year it would be at one aunt and uncle's place, or a couple times it was in a park. But it continued. And as that generation began to depart, it still was kept going pretty well. My one cousin did it pretty much every other year, and my brother and sister-in-law and another cousin kind of filled in the gaps. So again, maybe not every year, but almost.
Mm-hmm.
But since our older generation, is gone, it's been a number of years.
Yeah,
since
yeah.
There's been one, and then Gina and Melissa offered last year to host on the day after my grandchild Spencer's high school graduation party, because they would still have the tent and space.
Yeah, yeah.
So that turned out to be something I'm very, very grateful for. We didn't have everyone, but we had a very nice turnout. And as it turned out, it was the last time I did see my cousin.
Yep, your cousin Lori.
My cousin Lori. She became very ill around Christmas time and passed around 2 months ago. But I was very grateful for that connection, and hopefully we won't go a number of years before we can get together again.
Well, we'll just have to have Gina do it next year.
There you go.
Well, I remember.
Bring somebody else.
Yeah. I remember growing up with those picnics, right from as long back as I could remember. I remember when I were at Grandma and Grandpa's house that there was always bocce and horseshoes and the Wimbledon uh, the Wimbledon tennis tournament would be on old black and white TV. Yeah, and my favorite family picnic that we went to was when the older generation brought dishes that they remembered from the Depression. So we got to eat some stale bread and oil and vinegar and polenta, which is your favorite. So my mom doesn't like polenta, and if you don't know what it is, it's just basically cornmeal, and you can cook it however you want. Aunt Lillian made it like almost like a soup,
Right,
and
with tomatoes, a very good tomato sauce.
yeah, so it was kind of a soupy cornmeal, and she put spaghetti sauce over it, and other people cook it so it's firmer, and you can cut it into squares. Why don't you like it?
I think it's more the texture.
Okay.
I was never a child that was very cooperative with cooked cereal.
Nope. Okay.
If you want an addition to that memory, I was in the second grade and we were studying American Indians. I believe possibly in New York State. And I was all excited because food was always very important to me. And we were going to make Indian pudding in class. And I was so excited until the day came and I came home totally distraught because I turned around and said it wasn't pudding, it was polenta, which is what the family called polenta.
Yeah. Yeah. I like Poland, but yeah, and those picnics. I mean, those were all your cousins,
Yes.
aunts and uncles. And there's quite a few people that used to come.
And like, as I said a little earlier on, and a lot of my father's cousins and their families at the
Yeah.
time
Uh,
attended too.
and we used to play volleyball too. And your cousin Michael would always, if they would either call it in or out, he would always point at the dust because Grandpa would make lines, and see the dust, there's dust. And then the water balloons.
Okay, yeah.
We would toss water balloons back and forth with a partner, and whoever's was left with their balloon that they hadn't dropped and broken was the winner. And the food was always great. Was there anybody's particular dish that you liked the best, or?
No, I think I just looked forward to it in general. There was it seemed like every year the not me, but people looked forward to chicken livers wrapped in bacon and
Okay.
broiled. That was not my thing,
Yeah, I
but
don't remember those.
yeah, that was maybe farther back.
Okay.
But
And I also remember that your cousin Mary and Gina and I, we were closer in age, would go across the street to Memory's Gardens and walk around, and it's a nice cemetery.
I played now growing up.
Well, any more you want to say about the family picnics?
No, I'm just grateful that we had them, and even though even now with my cousins, I still feel a real close attachment, even though we don't communicate often.
Hmm.
But I think that growing up and that type of thing kind of bonded that, at least for me.
Yeah, yeah, and they're great people. So we're moving on to the news story to a not so great person. Um, and I just want this last week we've been told by the Trump administration that there is no Epstein client list, and my memory goes back to the election that he was going to release the client list, and I think we're seeing a great example of the novel 1984. There's a particular part of the book where the radio announces that chocolate has been lowered to 30 cents an ounce or whatever and everybody knew that last week chocolate was 20 cents. And they just say it enough that people just go on with their lives thinking that they're eating chocolate that's been discounted. And so, what do you think of this?
Well, um, it's been around for a long time and always, even if it was an undertone, there was always mention of the Epstein list.
Hmm.
And to blatantly say you're going to release it, now there's all kinds of pictures popping up. There are many, many pictures of Trump with Epstein and very young girls in the pictures.
Right.
They can be contrived, possibly, but there's a lot of pictures that are of the two of them together on planes in multiple situations. And now all at once, there's no list. I think maybe it's a step too far. I don't know how correct the media is. There's
What's a step too far?
too far as the cover-ups and the mistruths and the disenfranchising people, all of that that's going on right now.
Yeah.
People are, especially the people that support him or did support him, are accepting a lot of those things. But for some reason, if it continues, who knows? They seem to be upset by this. That was like their bone they've been waiting for.
Hmm.
And it doesn't matter to me if other people are exposed, if they're on the list, then it doesn't matter their affiliation. I have no sympathy for who's exposed, but I think he promised it, it should be. And if he's on it, which I would not be surprised, um, he hasn't been accountable for anything else, so he'll probably slide through like he does with everything else.
Yeah, I mean, you just hear so much different information. I was reading an article by Chris Hedges that painted a negative picture for Donald Trump with his how much contact he had with Epstein and other anecdotes. Uh, there is a journalist, I can't remember his name, that has poured through all the available information and has come up with his own list of people who are mentioned in different depositions, the different cases and lawsuits, and other information. As there's 79 people on the list, and one of them is Bill Clinton, um, Bill Gates, and then oh, I don't know if I'm remembering the name correctly. So I just say it was one of the chairman of the Fed. I mean, it's just all kinds of people. And I was talking with a colleague about it, and his opinion was like, "Well, why worry about it? It has nothing to do with our lives." And I disagree with that because I think it has everything to do with our lives.
I agree with you there because we're being fed all these things and things are going through without legal process and people are being stripped of their employment. I have people around me
Hmm.
that it's already happened to, and somebody extremely close whose employment is jumping through hoops because they do a lot of helping people, nonprofits.
Uh-huh.
So I think it all ties in together. If it's just going to be another big thing that people are just going to swallow and accept,
Right.
it just keeps down that path, and it's got to be stopped.
Well, and you know how I feel about both parties. Um, and when people say that they're one big uniparty around war, they're one big uniparty when it comes to serving the wealthiest and most powerful people in this nation. And one of the journalists I like to listen to said that he doesn't think that the Trump administration cares if people believe it, that there's not a list. What he cares about is that he sent a huge message to the oligarchy that they're going to keep this under wraps no matter what they have to do. And, it gets me to thinking, over the years, like occasionally I would turn into Fox News and you would hear people say, um, people would be protesting for wages or on strike, and it always the turn of phrase would always come to, well, we can't have a class war. And there's been very wealthy people over the years on Fox, MSNB, and CNBC that have brought up this issue of class war, and the whole last 40 years has been a class war on the middle class, the working poor, and the poor, and they've won. And now that back in 2014, Stanford University said that we're no longer a democratic republic, we're an oligarchy. I just think that we're seeing the oligarchy flex its muscle at this point in time. And if they were to release this list, it definitely would take the wind out of the sails of a class that very few of us could ever imagine being a part of. And I think people should just persist and insist that we um, that they pursue this and don't let it die.
And one day, earlier in the week, was it Pam Bondi? Is that?
Yeah, yeah.
Says I have the file on my desk.
Hmm.
All at once, now there's no file.
Right.
Oh, she said the file, not the list.
Yeah, I was talking about the file, not the list. So, well, we'll see. There's been so many things over the years that you would hope that things got exposed, and whether it's misinformation or propaganda about different wars, different things that we've seen domestically, and that the information is there. But the time passes and people forget, and the people that manipulate and steal and rob and misuse power just are able to keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it really is too bad. So let's go on to the sports story. So my mother's favorite sporting event is the game of Jeopardy. And would you like to tell people why you like Jeopardy?
Like it if I can answer a question, although I've been kind of on a dry run lately.
Okay. So I've noticed things over the years, and it seems that women have a hard time winning. And so it became a joke, or at least a joke to me. And but when we watch, it just seems that a lot more men seem to win than women. So so how do you feel about that observation?
It's something to me recently that got me thinking. I'm a terrible researcher, so I probably would never look into it. You said, do you think the questions are gated more towards men?
Well, that was that.
But you do make a joke about if there's anything household or shopping or cooking.
Well, you got to go with the joke. Uh, but well, yeah. I mean, I wanted to get there. In my growth in college and being part of different organizations which valued political correctness and equality and equity and things like that. Um, when looking at this phenomenon, uh, I'm surprised that someone has not stood up in the tradition that uh, I was used to hearing people talk and say, I think we need to take a good hard look at who's formulating the questions and see if there is gender bias in the questions, which I don't think is unreasonable. And when we brought this, I brought this up in front of my niece, and of course she reflexively, responded to me that I was a big, huge sexist. But then there was another idea that came up to mind. You have any thoughts before I share that?
No.
I don't want to be accused of dominating the conversation.
I don't know for sure that that would be the case.
Hmm.
I don't know if, just people aren't as quick to ring the buzzer.
Uh-huh.
I mean, sometimes you see somebody just dominate and you see the other two people trying desperately to click their button.
Right. So maybe it's something physiological with men's thumbs. But also another thought that came to mind uh, was perhaps men are less risk adverse and bet bigger and or it would be a culmination of a whole bunch of
Chances quicker.
yeah,
Just
yeah.
take the chance.
So in no way that I want to be coming from a truly sexist point of sexist. I don't know what I'm trying to say. An inherent a sexist viewpoint. Um, but in talking about women on television, that tonight while we were eating dinner, I asked if you minded if we watched Evolution, which was women's wrestling, and what did you think about that?
It's a good stage show, but it's not my thing.
Okay, so what if they had Jeopardy Evolution and the women wrestlers came on and answered questions and in between wrestled in front of the podiums? I don't know. I think it might, it,
Might be a better for ninja or something.
it could be a special, like for a week or 2 weeks. Yeah, and whichever woman answered the most questions would get one of the big belts, and she would be the world Jeopardy champion. So, any more thoughts on the Jeopardy?
Oh, the librarian from Indiana or something vying for a belt with one of the
Well, that'd be great.
wrestlers.
Yeah, people to costume her, outfit her, do her makeup. It would be cool. All right. So the mystery category. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play for you an excerpt of a Gritty Knows Best episode, and that is my friend Gritty's podcast. And just a little excerpt, and the title of this episode was Sensitivity Training. Okay.
Because I know you're losing these cats and you love them. So I will express and give you some compassion right now. Speaking of compassion, we need to discuss this, okay? Because somebody in this group does not have any compassion. Oh, look, he's rubbing his do-rag because he knows what we're about to talk about, okay? I got to let the audience hear this because this was great. Pastor was supposed to be here so I can apologize for this person. Okay, so on behalf of the Gritty Knows Best family, I apologize to Pastor Moran for the lack of compassion that was expressed by Justin the other day. Oh my God, I couldn't believe it. So Pastor Moran calls Justin, and I'm on Justin's. Justin got 3 phones and 2 fucking. All these guys have like 6,000 electronics. You call, they're on the iPad while they're on the phone, and then on the computer. I don't know. I can't keep up with this shit. So I'm on. I'm on one of Justin's phones. Pastor calls, and he's like, "I'm answering on my other phone." phone? So he answers it, and I hear him and Pastor talking. I'm eavesdropping, whatever. Pastor goes, he sounds a little down that day, and he's like, yeah, we're doing I pushed back the church stream because we have to do a funeral for somebody who just passed away in our church, somebody that we love and respect very much, just passed away in our church. So there was a nice little silence after Pastor said that. It was just, I'm looking at Justin too. First of all, Justin's watching TV while Pastor's talking. Okay, Justin is watching TV. I don't know what was on AEW. Wrestling was on. So Justin's watching wrestling, right? So that's already the first move. Is Pastor looking at you on FaceTime? Yeah. So he sees you just not even looking at him. Not even looking at him. So Justin's looking. Looking at him? No. You were looking down. You would look down at him like, are you still there? Because he'd be talking to you. You'd be talking to him, and you'd just be looking at the screen, and he would stop talking. You would just look down like, are you still talking? Like, are you still here? And I was just like, this man is so disrespectful. So Pastor says, somebody in our church died, very loved, very respected. And then Justin goes, look, he comes to. He's like, his brain goes, oh, I'm supposed to say something to that. So he goes, you think, fill in the blank of what you think you should say in your brain right now. When somebody goes, somebody just died in my family. What do you say? All right, you got that? Are you done? That's right. Now, the actual answer for what he said was, okay. And then more silence. And then Pastor just like, yeah, so, like he just starts filling the space himself. I mean, when I tell you the disgust and the shame that I felt I was like, wow, I was shocked. I couldn't believe what I was looking at. The lack of empathy, the lack of compassion was astounding. And I felt bad for Pastor.
So you've heard this, and the person that didn't show me any compassion is Justin Simbitis. This is a few years ago when I was still pastoring in Utica. What's your initial reaction to this?
Well, I think should have said, I'm sorry for your loss, or it must have been a difficult day for you, or something.
Now, being my mother, did this get your back up? Is this pissing you off that Justin could be so callous and lack so much empathy?
Well, I don't know Justin personally, but you have, given a little bit of background on him, and I know he has his own challenges. So do I think he should have showed you compassion? Yes, at least a brief statement. But I don't, it's hard to know what his demeanor is.
You couldn't pretend to be at least angry.
Well, I mean, it does bother me if people don't respond to people who are having a difficult time.
Okay, all right. Could you just say that a little angrier?
It does bother me when people don't respond appropriately to people having a difficult time.
Okay, one more notch up. Just one more time to Justin.
Okay, Justin, you should have shown empathy and compassion to Pastor on that day.
There you have it. My mother is pissed off at Justin Simbitis, and that this is a feud that is going to last for years. Right out of the mouth of Donna Moran. Nah. So the episode goes on, and they do some sensitivity training with Justin, and they do role playing, and they crack up a lot. And Mo starts talking about his own life during the role play, and Gritty tells him to stop, and and but finally, in the final role play that I don't know if it's Justin or Mo, tells uh, Justin something, somebody died, and he said, "I'm very sorry to hear that. Sorry for your loss." And it was beautiful. Gritty said that he could be, a little less robotic about it, but so we do appreciate the fact that Justin, that you were called on some insensitive behavior, and that you rose to the occasion and went to sensitivity training. So, how does that make you feel?
I think that's progress.
That's progress. Very good. So, are we going to continue this feud with Justin?
I don't think.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. And I just want to give a shout out to Justin. Love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. So that's our episode. How did you feel about that?
Very thoughtful.
Okay. And while we were in the middle of the episode, I don't know if you heard the dogs or heard my dad come in, but my dad came in. And how was the comedy show? Very good. And who did you see? Cliff Cash. So if you don't know who Cliff Cash is, check him out. My dad said he was good. So that being said, thank you for being on the show. You think you'll be on the show again?
I could do that.
Okay. So just, we'll just take your temperature on how your feelings are toward Justin. And so we thank you for listening, and good night.